Hi, shalom everyone over here. We know that it's going to be Hanukah only in a few days' time next week. Very, very exciting, very enjoyable. Over here, just got a small Hanukah or menorah, as you can call it. Some, let's just say, olive oil lighting in of itself of the best quality over here in Israel. That's optimum, naturally, to light with olive oil as opposed to wax candles. Of course, wax candles is also fine. But over here, in this special edition over here, we are going to learn some of the customs and some of the laws the Sephardim, the northern African countries, or the Spanish communities in of itself, within regards to the festival of Hanukah over here. So I haven't got the dreidels out just yet. Obviously, I'm going to be careful within regards to the donuts, sufganiyot, as we call it in Hebrew, within regards to what we're going to have, but always very, very exciting. Once again, it's actually a special privilege, because we know that we've been learning the excellent notes of Rabbi Yonatan Nakson. I think he's connected to the OU, Orthodox Union, if I'm not mistaken. We use his notes for Tisha B'Av, for Rosh Hashanah, for Yom Kippur, for Sukkot, and now here we are again, using it for the festival of Hanukah, the festival of lights in of itself. This is going to be a few-part series over here. So let's talk about it using these excellent notes of Rav Yonatan over here. I would love to meet him. I would love to record with him. So if you know who this person is, please tell him that there is someone looking out for him, and that has very much used his material over. And we've had, within regards to these dinim, these laws, within regards to all these different festivals so far, the 4-5 festivals we covered, we've had about maybe a good 30,000-40,000 views. So very much that's partly in his thought. So he says it's accepted that now over here, he's introducing it as a comprehensive halachic guide, let's just say for Sephardim. Remember, this is for all of Am Yisrael. Everyone can learn this and be inspired, whatever background we might be from in of itself. So he's actually writing an excellent introduction over here. Says that during the time of the second Bet HaMikdash, naturally the Syrian Greeks issued, obviously we know, cruel decrees against Am Yisrael. In their attempt, they tried to destroy the Jewish religion. The Syrian Greeks entered the Bet HaMikdash, as we know, the holy temple, and desecrated and defiled all of its pure and holy vessels. We very much know this. It happened to be on the 25th day of Kislev, the Hashmonaim, the Hasmoneans. They succeeded in defeating the Syrian Greek forces occupying the land of Israel. And that's very much related over, I think, according to the Rambam in Hanukah in number 2, and also Hilchot in Mesachet Shabbat on page 31b, is going to actually state that they defeated the Greeks on the 24th of Kislev. So there was a different, but however they lit the menorah, or let's say the Hanukah, on the 25th of Kislev, respectively. Very, very interesting enough. So they came in, and after, let's just say, it was uncontaminated oil they needed to use in order to kindle the menorah. They were exhausted, and they were looking for the pure oil, and they found only one bottle that contained the Kohen Gadol's unbroken seal, attesting to the tahorness, let's just say the purity within regards to it. Although there was only sufficient oil to burn for only one day, a miracle occurred, and obviously, as we all know, it lasted 8 days, this miracle of Hanukah, by which time they were able to produce more oil. Therefore, naturally, on the festival of Hanukah, we light the menorah for 8 days over here to have gratitude and thanks to Hashem for the great miracle that He performed in this specific time. I think the Talmud Bavli in Masechet Shabbat on page 21b will actually relate over that. Let's look at some of the laws and the customs of Hanukah, using from a Sephardic lens over here. So learning the laws of Hanukah, that's the first thing naturally we've got to do. Obviously, ideally, one should learn the laws of Hanukah at least 1 month before Hanukah starts. This is the sources, Hilchot Shlomo, I think actually talks about that Halichot Shlomo of Hanukah in itself. I read on other places also myself that an individual tends to start learning the laws of let's just say the festival that is coming up 1 month even before, 30 days before. So that is also to, let's say, take into consideration. Okay, now performing melacha and lighting the Chanukah lights. Many women, let's just say, have the custom to refrain from performing melachot, work, at that point, that are prohibited on Chol HaMoed. Naturally, Chol HaMoed Sukkot, Chol HaMoed Pesach, these were the 2 times of it, such as sewing and knitting, for half an hour after lighting the menorah. However, they may cook, clean, and bathe, because during that time period, naturally, they might need to clean in the house, might want to cook some, let's say, levivot, latkes, or sufganiyot, donuts in themselves. Women who refrain from melacha, the entire Hanukah are mistaken and they should be corrected. So during that window of time, after lighting, then there's every reason not to do the melacha. But to now not do it the whole of Hanukah, that is going to be problematic over here. Now, interesting enough, there's another the custom of refraining from work for 30 minutes after the menorah is lit does not apply to men over here. So this is seemingly exclusively to women. And Chazan, the book, the Chazon Ovadia of Chacham Ovadia Yosef, actually relates over in Chanukah in page number 12, I believe, quotes a Torah ha-moadim. And I think Yakut Yosef in the book of Chanukah also stipulates this, that women should refrain from strenuous work such as washing clothes and so on and so forth. I think the Or Letzion actually relates over within regards to this. Okay, now there is a custom of giving tzedakah, of giving charity on Hanukkah. It's customary to distribute tzedakah to the poor on the festival of Hanukkah. As we know, I believe this is actually coming from, if I'm not mistaken, a Magen Avraham, the book Magen Avraham, I think from Siman 670, very much relates to Soba and various other different great books in itself. I think it's a special segula, if I'm not mistaken, also connected to this. So very, very interesting enough. Now, next bullet point number 5, some people have a custom to give small amounts of money to the children on Hanukkah. Others give them presents. And naturally we know that I remember when we were growing up as kids, we had a family gathering and everyone, let's just say, would actually come and give different gifts in our family. My aunts will give me, it was always an exciting time. One of my aunts would give me like £5, give different coins. And it's always an inviting time period when one is getting presents, or matanot, as they say in Hebrew. Very, very interesting enough. So that is another custom over here. I think the Stipler, the great rabbi, the Stipler, actually would give money to his children and his grandchildren, but he himself stated that he didn't know the reason for the custom in of itself. So that's interesting enough. So some people that don't necessarily know so well the custom over here might actually give in of itself. Very, very interesting enough. Okay, but yeah, that's what's brought down here in the notes on number 8, bullet point number 8 over there. But he does extend, Rabbi Yonatan does extra notes on it. Now, serving a meal in the honor of Hanukkah, is this a case? We know during Sukkot, during Pesach, there's a mitzvah of eating over here. Yeah, is this is a Sudat Chanukah mitzvah in of itself? So, bullet point number 6. Many people prepare Sudot meals or parties on Hanukkah. This is done to commemorate the completion of all, let's just say, the beams, the tarps, etc., that were needed for the Mishkan's construction, which was, naturally, we know, on the 25th day of Kislev. Although the Mishkan itself was not actually constructed until months later, naturally on the month of Nisan, as many of us will know. Additionally, various different Su'udot are made on Hanukkah to commemorate the rededication of the Bet HaMikdash, the Holy Temple, which had been defiled by the Syrian Greeks. However, since these Su'udot are not, let's say, bona fide in of itself, Yom Tov requirements, it's not exactly written, a person should sing, let's say, Zmirot, which consists of praise to Hashem, or speak words or Torah during the Su'udah, so that the Su'udah will be considered the Su'udat mitzvah. So, in of itself, it's not necessarily a Su'udat mitzvah to do a meal of itself. But why not do a siyum? Why not add extra words of Torah within regards to the day to give it that, to elevate the status of the specific day? Okay, now bullet point number 7. Many people have the custom to eat dairy foods to commemorate the miracle that occurred to Yehudit. This is something we spoke about last year. I think we dedicated a video within regards to that also, which is very interestingly enough. Now the source from that comes from Ramah. The Ben Ishai also speaks about it in Parshat Vayeshev, I think in chapter number 121, the Kaf HaChaim in 617, and various other books in of itself. Obviously, we all know, just to clarify, there was an evil decree, let's just say, for every betrothed woman to live with a Greek governor prior to a wedding. Yehudit, the daughter of Yohanan, who happened to be the high priest, the Kohen Gadol, fed the governor cheese until he was very thirsty. She then served him wine until he was drunk and fell into a deep sleep. She then proceeded to decapitate him and brought his head to Jerusalem. When the Greeks saw that their leader had died over here, they fled for other reasons, for eating dairy foods on Hanukkah. I think the Bnei Yisachar actually brings it back in the Mamrei Chodesh Kislev. I think Mama number 3 in the Ner Mitzvah in of itself naturally. Okay, let's make some more progress over here. So we know that we talked about the milky products in of itself. Now number 8, many people have the custom to eat foods fried in oil such as sufganiyot and donuts over here. So I think the Chazon Ovadia will bring this down in Yalkut Yosef in page number 64 and mention about these customs in of itself. And I think one of the reasons why is also it's an oily product in of itself. I think there's also a Nativ Hama'arab in Hanukkah 23 brings it was customary in Morocco to send platters of, let's just say, these pastries called sphinge over here, which we spoke about before, to poor people, widows, newly married couples. Okay, so let's continue. So now, number 9, on Shabbat Hanukkah, it's customary to add a dish that one would not regularly serve. If that Shabbat also happens to be Rosh Chodesh, one should add a second additional food to his meal. So this is very interesting. We're learning a lot of new laws. The Ben Ishai will actually naturally speak about it, and the Yalkut Yosef. Okay, using a dreidel, a sevivon, as we say, it's considered a kli shemlachto leheter, even though it is sometimes used as a game for winning money, and it's allowed to even be used on Shabbat. This, let's just say, this dreidel, this sevivon. Wearing nice clothing does this apply on this day in of itself? It's praiseworthy to wear nicer clothing on Hanukkah than one usually does during the weekdays. So that's very interesting. So you've got that extra panache to this day in of itself. Within regards to clothing, that's Yisod ve'shoresh ha'avodah in Sha'ar number 9. Which actually brings that down, I believe. Okay, now the mitzvah of lighting the menorah. Okay, so let's do this quickly, and we're going to call it a break from part number 1. There are 2 reasons given for why we light the menorah on Hanukkah. In order to remember the miracle that the oil that they found in the Bet HaMikdash lasted for 8 days, and so that we can remember the miracle that they won a war against the Greeks and annulled, naturally, all those evil decrees. Now, the second thing, the Gemara states that one who is scrupulous with kindling of the Chanukah lights will be rewarded with children who are Torah scholars. So it's a huge segula to that in itself. Masechet Shabbat on page 23. Amud Bet would actually relate over that. Therefore, after one lights the Chanukah candles, it's proper to pray that one's children will be righteous and become great Torah scholars. Naturally, on Shabbat, when we light the Shabbat candles, we will also give this special prayer. Now, number 3 over here. There are essentially 3 levels of observance regarding the mitzvah of lighting the Chanukah lights. 1, strictly speaking, the halacha requires one to light one light on each night of Hanukkah in every household over here. That is by the letter of the law, as you said. Rambam in Hanukkah number 4, 1 will actually bring that down. And the Shulchan Aruch, the Code of Jewish Law also. Number 2, the second way prescribed is called mehadrin. When lighting mehadrin, let's just say, each household member lights one light every single night. And then the third over here, let's just say the preferred method, is called Mahadrin Mina Madrin over here, in which one light is lit on the first night, and an additional light in each, let's say, subsequent night is going to be, until 8 lights are lit on the last night in of itself. Now, interestingly enough, the Ashkenazic custom is for each household member to light Mehadrin Min Mahadrin, this actual code of conduct in itself. The Sephardi custom, however, is only for the head of the household to light menorah mahadrin minamedrin on behalf of the entire household, which is very interesting enough. Now we're going to call it a day over here because we're going to do, it's more of an abbreviated session. Next time we're going to speak about setting up the menorah, the wicks and the oil and the types of menorah that should be used over here. So please, everyone, watch your space for the next installment. Don't forget to stock up with everything. An excellent real silver menorah over here. I wish you all a fantastic day. And please, everyone, be well. We're a community here. We're learning so many different topics together. Enjoy and be well. Take care.